Hi everybody. I heard from a couple of you that you were having trouble getting the XYZ plugin to work. Maybe you're using a Mac, maybe there are other issues, but for anybody having trouble, don't give it a second thought. Here's another video to revisit vase making, but from a different modifier this time. This might even be easier. It's called the screw modifier. And I've got this ceramic vase set into a photo box, and this time I've made the box metallic so it reflects the vase here, and it's kind of nice the way it's doing this here. So let me show you how to do that. Starting with a brand new Blender file, I'm going to hit Tab and head over to the edit mode, and then hit A twice to deselect everything, and then hit the letter C for your circle select. And also, well, let's do this. And there's a couple points that we're still going to hit, so hit X here. First escape, then X, and then vertices, and then one more time C here. I'm just going to click that, then the escape, and then the letter X, vertex or vertices. And then taking the move tool, third one on the left here, click on our little single point and move it right to the origin here, right to the center. All right, and then I'm actually hit number 3 as well and move that up and in here. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go back to the move tool and hit the letter E and pull this out and left click, E, left click, just like that. I hit E and pull this out and left click. So holding shift, I'm going to hit the middle mouse and pan down. E, something like that is nice. And okay, going to hit the letter A, come over to object mode, so this is selected. I'm going to hit the wrench over here and add a modifier, and this time it's called screw, and click that, and bingo, you have an instant vase here. But it's a little lumpy because of all these bumps that were here. So we're going to apply that and add another modifier, click that, subdivision. Well, before we subdivide it, let's solidify it. So I'm going to click the solidify and dial that up to 0.15 or 6 or so, something like that, and apply that. And then one more, add modifier, subdivision surface, and make the render 3 and the viewport 2. And right click, well, right click on it and shade smooth. Okay, so with just a couple of clicks, and look at that, we have a bottom that's wide open. It's easy to fix. I'm going to come back to edit mode here and hit A twice to deselect everything, and then click on the edge select tool, or hit number 2 on your numbers, and hold down the Alt key and left click on one of these edges here at the bottom, and then hit letter F, and that fills it in with a face. You don't really need to do that. We could have cheated a little bit because the way we're going to sit this in our box, we're never going to see the bottom anyway. But anyway, okay. Come back out to object mode over here and left click the light and G, and pull that up and out a little bit. And I'm going to hit number 1 and put a plane in here. So Shift A, mesh plane, scale it S to 15, enter. G is Z to move it down a little bit so that it's just hitting the bottom of the vase here. Orbit around clockwise, so you put the camera between you and the vase. Come back again to edit. Hit A to deselect everything twice. Left click this far edge. You can zoom out a little bit. Hold down Shift. Left click this edge. Then EZ and pull your mouse. Good. So this lamp, let's go back to object mode. Click on the lamp here and click the lamp properties, the little green light bulb on the right. I'm going to make it a sun and leave the color white for now. And strength, let me look at 5,000 and see what that looks like. I'm going to click the third button here. Way too much, that's sunlight. How about the point light? I think that's better. And I'll leave the specular alone. It's a radius that we could dial up a little bit, made it a little broader. Good. So I'm going to left click on the vase and come down to the right here and click on the materials, base color. Have your choice here. I guess I'll go with a little blue color. Scroll down a little bit. The roughness, let's reduce that a little bit, give it a little gloss. So it's down at a 0.1, 0.2, something like that. Okay, 0.167. Shaping up, let's see. I was saying if I click on the box now, why don't we give that a material? So I'm going to click the new button here since materials button is still selected. And base color, I'm going to dial it back a little darker. And metallic, I'm going to put that at 1, enter. And roughness, dial that back until we start to see something like that. I'm going to come back to solid mode for a second and throw in another light over here. I could just copy this one with a Shift D and move it over and down and make it into a spotlight. And so I clicked over here, spot, and then rotate it. And let's look at it. Okay, I'm going to give it a little blue color and check it out, see how it's shaping up. We can definitely bring up the roughness of this box back here. Okay. Good. Now let's set up our camera. So hit letter N. Click the View tab, click Lock Camera to View, hit N to get rid of this, hit 0 on your numpad, scroll out, hold down Shift to pan, reorient the size of this frame if you want. So I'm going to come up to the Output tab, which looks like a printer, take the X resolution to the left and the Y to the right, and make more of a square shape. And that's setting up pretty nicely there. If you're having trouble rendering, if your computer's crashing or something, we can make a smaller image here. So instead of on the 100%, you could make that 50%. And since there's metal, we might see some noise in this, but I'm going to start rendering it and see how it goes. So I'm going to hit F12. Oh, this is an Eevee. It doesn't look half bad in Eevee, and that's why we don't have noise here. Let's check it out in cycle. So I'm going to move this off the frame and click the camera and cycles here. And I think we're going to be happier in some ways with the way this renders. Let's compare that. It's going to take longer to render. Let me bring this back in for a second and do a screenshot of it just to compare it. New. My computer is now running slow. I've got so much open here. Anyhow, move that off. Close this. And try a new render here. F12. And let me pause the video. Okay, on the left is the Eevee version, and on the right is the Cycles version. Yeah, you know, this is not bad on the left for an instant render, and your computer probably won't crash. On the right, though, I like the subtleties of how there are more reflections, and you see the way the metal is working in the box is a little more subtle. There's some reflections that are a little more subtle. There's a smoother gradient of tones in here. So it's up to you. And save your file into your Google Drive. Take a couple of views if you want to try a couple of these also. And post to the blog. So see you then.